of a 4-game set. And let's get right to our Toyota keys to the game.
Well, it's all about Carlos. He's got to eat up some innings with what's happened last night. And if you look, he's only pitched 1 1/3 innings per game in his 10 starts in Memphis. Remember, earlier in the season, he made 3 starts in AA and then 10 relief appearances up here. And hopefully he's stretched out. He is the man with the golden arm, though.
Our key in numbers on Carlos Martinez, 10 games at the big league level. This is his first major league start. ERA in the mid-5s. But we have seen some magic from him at times. Really, really good fastball. And he's not afraid to throw it.
Well, and for years he's been regarded as having the best curveball in the Cardinal minor system. And he's got a changeup also. He's got the 2 and 4 seam. The 4 seam fastball can get to be all up to 100 miles an hour. But it's a 2-seamer that, you know, Dennis Martinez, who was a pitching coach in the Cardinal system, I talked to him about Carlos. He said he needs to keep on working on the 2-seamer, because you'll watch at times he'll throw that. Here's 98, but for a guy that throws this, a lot of hitters are able to center it and hit his fastball hard. So keep on working on that 2-seamer to go along with the 4-seam fastball.
Behind in the count, 2-1 to Carl Crawford. Just underway here at St. Louis, and he blows that one by him. 4 straight fastballs from Martinez. He'll throw a fastball about 80% of the time. The curve you're talking about, Al, 10%, and the changeup 10%. At least that's what we've seen at the big league level from Carlos. The 2. And a little flare in the left field. Base hit for Crawford. He had 4 hits here in game 3. Already seen Carl Crawford. Here's the rest of the Dodgers lineup. Mark Ellis, Adrian Gonzalez, and the rookie Yasiel Puig here in the first. Andre Ethier, A.J. Ellis, Juan Uribe, D. Gordon, the shortstop, and Hyunjin Ryu will pitch for the Dodgers. Our Dobbs Cardinals defense, Holiday, Jay, and again in the outfield. Cosma and Carpenter up the middle here tonight. David Freese and Craig at the corners, and Rob Johnson getting the start behind the plate for Mike Matheny. Wait a minute, he's a pitcher.
Yes, he was a very successful pitcher last night. Struck out every batter he faced. Talking about Rob Johnson, who's now showing his versatility catching today. And Mike Matheny decided, you know, hey, Rob Johnson has seen and worked with Carlos Martinez down at AAA. Let him catch tonight and give Cruz a little rest.
Ellis struggling on the road trip, just 2 for 18.
How about this? It really doesn't make sense, does it? He's 0 for his last 12. He's hit 176 against St. Louis pitching. And for a guy that doesn't hit many home runs, he has 3 home runs against St. Louis.
Feast or famine. The 1-1. There's the curveball you talked about. Hangs a bit high.
But a little buckle in the knees there. Baby Pedro, in reference to Pedro Martinez, who was about the same size as Carlos. What a pitcher he was.
Good fastball right down central at 98. Will run. The Dodgers run a bit more than the Cardinals do. In fact, twice as much. Cardinals with just 28 stolen bases on the season. The Dodgers with 56.
Crawford has 11 and 15 attempts at stealing bases.
And a healthy lead.
It's varying your looks, overs, step-offs, different things to control the running game, which is called from the bench.
Jams Ellis, this ball hugging the line, and it's a fair ball. David Freese took it right off the chalk and throws out Mark Ellis.
What a nice play right there, and I'm sure David, he couldn't determine if that ball is going to go foul. It starts out foul, but then comes back to fair territory, and he made the wise decision and makes a very good play. How about that ball? About a foot foul, and then carried all the way back with all the English and spin that ball had on it.
Not a good jump out of the box for Mark Ellis, as is often the case when
jammed. Still taking the splinters out of his hand. If you want to see what a jam shot looks like, it's right here. And look at that bat just shatter in his hands. And you can see right there how as we said, you don't get a quick jump out of the batter's box.
Adrian Gonzalez waves at a high fastball. Gonzalez, a dangerous bat, just 1 for 6 here last night as the Dodgers really feasted on Cardinal pitching. They had 13 runs on 18 hits.
He's faced the Cardinals most of the time when he was with San Diego, and now with the Dodgers. 3-game hitting streak, 300 average with 7 home runs against St. Louis.
Oh, 2 the count to Adrian Gonzalez. Cardinals deep in the outfield. Most of his power is really to left field, left center. And Martinez throwing hard. That's never going to be a question, is it?
Oh, let's hope.
But
for
that's
many years.
Not the thing we're worried about.
Correct.
When we think about Carlos Martinez. 1-2 is a fastball, swing and a miss, and he blew that by Gonzalez at 99.
Is a maximum effort type pitcher. He'll go deep into counts, and that's why he only averages about 5 1/3 innings through the minor leagues. If you're averaging 5 1/3 down there, you're usually going to be at least an inning less at the big league level initially. Shelby Miller, and if you missed it, after being hit on the elbow last night and we thought the worst, it's all good news today. Talked to him. He even played catch. He says he feels better today than he did yesterday. Will probably not miss a start. And our open, that's not coming from Mike Matheny and the medical staff, but Jim Hayes and his excellent interview with Cardinal General Manager John Mozeliak. John said he probably will make his next start.
There you go. Good news. Late swing by Puig. Yasiel Puig, Dodger right fielder. In many people's mind, the front runner for the Rookie of the Year in the National League. Shelby Miller certainly in that picture. Is the Dodger starter today, Hyunjin Ryu.
He leads National League rookies with 11 wins, and Ryu is trying to match that total tonight against the Cardinals.
Swing and a miss. Another good fastball.
Fastball in on the hands, tied him up.
Jose Fernandez, another name we should mention, but
we understand they're going to shut him down in 2 or 3 more starts, something like that.
So that will hurt his chances. 1-2 the count to Puig. The pitch jams him left side of the infield. Tough play for Freese. Got to hurry, not in time. You saw that coming. Puig runs well. Infield hit. Crawford to third.
Could David Freese have run into that runner? You know, has to give the fielder an opportunity to field the ball. So instead of kind of laying back and waiting for the runner to cross in front of him, could he have stepped up and tried and gotten to the ball quickly and maybe got the obstruction call?
Possibly. Fastball, strike 1 to Andre Ethier. 5-game hitting streak for Ethier. He had 3 hits here last night.
Get a little frustrated as a pitcher when you make a good pitch like Martinez did to Puig and not rewarded for it. But you got to go right after the next guy. This is the big leagues. will say, like the way he's pitching inside tonight.
Two runners aboard for the Dodgers. Top of the first inning, just underway here at Busch Stadium. Major League start debut for Carlos Martinez, and he misses high. 2-1 on Ethier.
It's the fourth Cardinal rookie, and they're all under 25 years of age. The other three all won their first start.
The 2-1. Good fast outside corner.
I'll amend that. Waka should have won his. Remember, the bullpen blew his win, and he got a no decision, but
his may have been the best start of all.
7 innings and only 2 hits allowed.
And speaking of Waka, the Cardinals have announced that he will be starting on Saturday. More on that as we go along. Right now, 2-2 the count to Ethier. 2 outs in the Dodgers first. Pitch number 23 for Carlos. Late swing, fouls it off. Runner moving. Puig runs well. 7 stolen bases for him.
Out of a reckless runner, he had 7 out of 12 attempts, and they say that he runs into a lot of bouts. Adrian Gonzalez has saved him a couple times in this series because he was on in front of him and stopped. So stop.
Ground ball right side, smothered by Craig. Takes care of it himself. And a good inning for Carlos Martinez. Good, solid fastball.
A little bit. Will get the start on Saturday against the Cubs as the Cards tinker with their rotation. John Mozeliak says the move is aimed at getting a couple of days for Adam Wainwright. Waino was pushed back from Saturday to Tuesday. Mozeliak says Waino got that extra start before the All-Star break, has been throwing a lot of innings, and they just want to keep him. As the side benefit, the Cards will open that 3-game set against the Pirates with their ace, Adam Wainwright, on the hill, guys.
All right, thanks, Jim. Cardinals with the opportunity with that off day to give not just Wainwright, but perhaps a Shelby Miller a couple extra days if they want to, depending upon how he reacts and continues to react. But as we mentioned, and you and Jim talked about earlier, the news has been good on Shelby.
Yeah, it's good on Shelby, so we will make the next assignment. But the thing there where you talk about to benefit Adam Wainwright, who's lost 3 straight decisions. That's unlike Adam. So let's get him back in the groove and hopefully pick up a game on Pittsburgh. But got to win these games before they come in town.
Fly ball to right. A.J. Ellis is retired. And that's how we start the second. Let's look at the follow-through on Phantom Cam of Carlos Martinez.
I wish I was young, because look at that, hurts to watch.
Can you do this movement right about there, Al, and then spin around? And
nope, he plays with a little flair, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you can see he is young and flexible.
You can't accuse him of not finishing his pitch. Finishes it and then some.
I look at some old pictures or video, and I said, how did I get my leg that high?
Never again, Al.
You don't have to remind me.
Juan Uribe had the night off last night. Been a solid third baseman for the Dodgers. He's made only 3 errors on the season. And he's facing Martinez with 1 out in the second. Swing and a miss. Uribe strikes out. Let's go back to that play by Puig and right.
You see him flip it to his center fielder, and here's the crew chief talking to Mark Ellis, and what he's told him right there is if he drops it, that ball, it's going to be a live ball. It's not a catch. As Puig is very new to really, major league rules and all the nuances of the game. They say he has a tremendous talent level, but very raw.
Wondered if Ellis was actually going through an interpreter there. It looked like he called another player over to hear what he was saying to Puig to make sure that the message got through clearly. So message delivered.
What do you think?
Well, I didn't say received. D. Gordon hitting just 194, runs very, very well. We saw some of that here last night.
Did you see that little ball right there? Rob Johnson, the catcher, he kind of casually went after it because it's foul ball, but then when it hit the grass on the foul side, it started going towards fair territory, so he kind of on it quickly to make sure he picked it up and stopped it from going fair.
Like what Gordon did. He just kept running.
Yep.
He knew it was foul at one point, but let the umpire be the umpire. You just run.
Gordon's been up at the big leagues earlier, but he was 2 for 4 last night. Once bounced a breaking ball. Didn't bounce it. He's got a 3-game hitting streak, but he is not much of a hitter with that 194 average. But if he gets on base, he is definite threat to steal.
Set up inside, pitch inside, jams him. Martinez off balance throw, and perhaps he rushed it a bit.
And they hope he didn't hurt himself. So he grabbed and pulled on the toe. Rush it with D. Gordon's speed. So I mean, it's one of those things. He didn't have time to set, take a curl hop and throw. He had to throw it off balance. Good thing it didn't go. Alan Craig vacated the bag and didn't allow it to go into the right field area.
D. Gordon should always hit the ball on the ground. There are no hits in the air for Ryu. Bounces it foul. This time it stays foul. You mentioned Ryu swings the bat well. Looks like he's having a little equipment problem. Swings the bat well. An unorthodox swing, and for 8 years in Korea, 0 at-bats because you don't hit in the Korean baseball organization, the KBO.
And here he's 9 for 9. A 231 average with 2 doubles, a triple, 4 RBIs, and 5 sacrifices. There's that shin guard all the way down. That's the equipment part. And then he even has the little padding to protect his left arm and elbow. He looks like Cletus.
He does. All that armor?
Yeah, all that armor. It's Cletus, the Fox robot.
There goes Gordon. Pitch inside. Throw to second base. A bit high. A stolen base for Gordon.
Stolen base, number 6.
That's 6 here in 8 attempts, and I'm sure Rob Johnson and D. Gordon have done battle AAA this year, both of them in the Pacific Coast League. He was leading the Pacific Coast League in steals at the time of his recent promotion.
Kind of a late slide.
Yep.
He has to hang on to the bag.
I saw that last time when he went by the bag. But remember too, though, he's sliding feet first, and a lot of infielders aren't accustomed to putting that glove down to tag a guy sliding feet first. It has spikes.
Shows how confident Don Mattingly is in Gordon's ability to steal a base, to run with the pitcher at the plate. You don't normally want to try to steal a base, and if you're out, have the pitcher lead off the next inning. An RBI shot for Ryu. Fouls that one off down the right field line.
I think they're also kind of confident in Ryu's ability to help his own cause.
He has kind of the bail and wail philosophy, is what we used to call it, where your body goes one way and you just kind of drop the bat head and try to hit the ball to right field.
Sometimes you make contact and you have no idea where it went.
The 2-2. That one goes to right field. Tron settles under it, and Martinez is through 2. No score from the here tonight at Busch Stadium, and nothing but zeros so far. Top of the order for the Dodgers. It'll be Carl Crawford, Mark Ellis, and Adrian Gonzalez facing Martinez. So far, so good. Crawford singled and was stranded in the Dodger first. High pitch count in that inning for Martinez, who settled down the second with the bottom of the Dodgers order, and just hope maybe he can keep that pitch count as low as possible and get past that 5th inning, Al, as you talked about.
Yeah, it's just
ground ball, second base, tough play on the run, not in time. Martinez, just 21 years of age. A number of young Cardinals starters have gone to work this year.
I think it's 59 starts from kids that are under 25. And then you think about the old man, our starter tomorrow, Lance Lynn, who's 26. So Cardinals got a bright future with all these power arms coming up.
Seeing the importance of speed so far here tonight.
Well, actually, you almost wish they'd start hitting the ball a little harder off of Martinez. It's been the chinks, little flares and quails that have been giving him problems. There's three infield hits out of 4.
Good fastball at the knees to Mark Ellis. Crawford a threat to steal. 4 for 5 last night. 2 for 2 already here tonight. As Ellis checks the signs with Tim Wallach.
I would think that they would do a little hit and running too with Ellis in 2-hole, try and get him going.
Rob Johnson working behind the plate for the Cardinals. A little flare to right. Crawford thinking about 3. Here's the throw from Beltran on the money and not in time. Well, Crawford takes a chance. Is just barely safe at third.
I think he has a lot of confidence in his speed. Knew that ball was not hit hard at all. And Beltran gets to him, and look at this arm right on the money. David Freese was trying to deke him at third base, trying to indicate there wouldn't be a throw. He even slowed down a little bit to make sure that ball gets through, but he can run, and it's worth the gamble. Get a better look here at the tag, and he's safe. See how David Freese was standing there trying to act like it wouldn't be a play.
Fly ball to left. This should score a run. Back goes Holiday. He's got it. And the runner tags from first, play at second base, and he's safe there.
Wow. First base umpire in the rotation. He's running to go to second base, and he looks before he makes the call. He looks at the second base umpire. It was around the shortstop area. he didn't see anything from him, so then he's got the plate behind him and he calls him safe. Holiday did throw to the right base. You have no chance if you to get anybody at home, so you throw to second base and try to avoid that runner going to second. Bang bang play goes the Dodgers way. Mike Esterbrook with the call there. Crew chief Jim Joyce was the umpire at second base, and he was positioned over around the shortstop area.
They're going to check and see if he left on time, and
he wouldn't know he was moving.
Got to ask somebody. It's as if Mike Matheny is not fully convinced of that. Ellis, the runner at second. 1-0 Dodgers on the sacrifice fly. Another softly hit ball to the left side. Freeze, who's been busy, throws out Puig, who runs well. And Ellis now advancing to third base.
Carlos Martinez is saying in Spanish, hit the ball hard.
Well, our dear friend and late friend, Bob Forsch, told me one spring training, he said, whatever you do, don't yell at the other team if they're not hitting the ball hard.
Because they will.
Because they will. Just when you think you don't like it when they're getting those little bloopers.
That's why I said Spanish.
Yeah.
Very quietly.
I think everybody who's ever played the game of baseball knows the Spanish word for line drive.
Niña.
Oh, well,
yes.
The two of us know. In fact, that's one of those words that we would drop in normal conversation. Just the Spanish word. We'd say linea and just wouldn't miss a beat. So used to using that word.
Yeah, if a Cardinal batter was up, we'd say Petacalle.
Or the street is what that's actually translated,
right.
But it means home run. Paracalle. Not many Paracalles for the Cardinals this year. It really has not defined their offense.
But it's been very productive.
Sure has. And a fun team to watch all season long.
With the exception of last night.
Yeah. All season except last night. Good point. Andre Ethier, 3-0 count. Pitch number 57 from Martinez is a high strike. Your Martinez, you can deal with one run. Just don't let it be a crooked number. Jams him. Ethier got jammed his first at bat. And bounced out to Alan Craig. .41 pitches, 95 miles an hour or more.
And 58 total.
3-2. Late swing. Watch out.
That went right over the dugout, and halfway up the front row, they're asking for help. Or, excuse me, in the stands.
Every player on a ball hit just like that, eyes immediately go to that spot because we're so conditioned now to think about the safety of fans on that kind of foul ball.
And fans, you know, want to be close to the action, and it's unbelievably fast when you are down there, but it's incredibly.
Derek Lilliquist out to talk to Martinez. That gives us time for our AT&T Twitter poll. Which team will be the toughest in postseason? Encourage everybody to get online, Fox Sports Midwest, and Love to hear your votes. Atlanta Braves, Dodgers, or the Pittsburgh Pirates. Who's going to be the toughest? And what we're asking is the toughest in postseason.
And you know what? We hope we play 2 of those National League clubs and show you that they really weren't that tough. And then take on the American League champion.
Sounds like a plan to me.
And pick up World Series number 12 championship for the Cardinals.
A.J. Ellis, the Dodger catcher. For 1, flew out to right. RBI opportunity for him, and he just waves at that pitch. No chance on the inner half. Ellis, as we've mentioned in this series, Al, a lot of deep counts. Sees more pitches than anybody.
Almost, what, 5 pitches at bat?
Make that pitcher work. 1. Just inside. 2-1. Five hits for the Dodgers, 2 for the Cardinals. 1-0 LA. 2 runners aboard. Top of the 3rd. Ground ball foul.
Did you happen to hear the interview with Mike Shannon, Mark McGuire?
I did not hear that.
Very, very nice, as Mark was talking about the tough decision to leave the Cardinal organization and, you know, take the job with the Dodgers, which allows him to be at home with, you know, live in his own house and you know, drive to work to Dodger Stadium and be with the family and everything. But how much he misses and how complimentary to all the Cardinal players that he worked with here and the young pitchers that he's really enjoying to see at their success, and guys he worked with, and now that they've taken it to another level and keep on going. He loves what he's doing
Sure
right now.
does.
And Cardinals still have the best offense in the National League, and the Dodgers are second in batting average to the Cardinals.
Big pitch here, and he misses high, so back-to-back walks with 2 outs for Carlos Martinez. And he's just asking for trouble here in the 3rd inning. Pitch count starting to elevate a bit. Now he's at 66. Working here in the 3rd. And he'll face Juan Uribe. Struck out in the 2nd inning. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for Martinez. Curveball is bounced foul to the right side, and it's going to stay foul. Strike 1. We've talked about this before, but I had the opportunity to room with Juan Uribe's cousin. Actually, his uncle, Jose Uribe.
Who was the player to be named later, wasn't he?
His name originally was Jose Gonzalez, changed it to Jose Uribe. And this is his nephew, Juan Uribe, and Jose, a Cardinal shortstop, also played some with the San Francisco Giants. Ground ball right side. Tough play for Carpenter. He's got it, and he throws out Uribe. Nice play going to...
Were you trying to match Shelby Miller with 11 wins? The biggest rookie winner in the American League is only 7. And we thought last night it'd be a while before we see him, but now I think he'll make his next start, especially with pushing back Wainwright 3 days. Wainwright starts on Tuesday. He may be the candidate for Wednesday. Those will be important games, and you want some of your better pitchers against the Pirates.
Pirates will not be easy. They've
right
made
now,
that very clear.
Joe Kelly might be one of my picks also.
He's been kind of glued to Wainwright today. Have you noticed that? I think he's trying to get some of his mojo, or maybe it's vice versa.
You know, Kelly may be a little better dancer than Adam, and that's saying a lot.
Joe Kelly has been so good since getting into that Cardinal rotation. A lot of confidence on his night to pitch. The 1-2 is Martinez. Wild swing. Ryu looking for his 11th victory against 3 losses in his rookie campaign. And it's strike 1 to D. Gordon, who singled and stole a base in the second.
Ryu has the best winning percentage by a Dodger rookie to this point in the season. That's quite a statement.
Been some good ones.
With 12 rookies of the year, and that's what Martinez wants to do with D. Gordon, is get him to hit the ball in the air.
Hits up there for Gordon.
Nope.
Part of the reason is you don't have to play him very deep because he doesn't have power, so very few kind of flare hits. He's going to get his hits by slapping the ball on the ground.
What was Whitey's bet with Vince Coleman?
Hard hit to short, but Ryu is retired. I'll give you $1 if you hit the ball on the ground. You give me $1 if you hit one in the air. Might have been. I think Whitey worked out the deal, so it was good for him.
You got a couple dollars if you hit it in the air, but the point was he wanted to make some money, and he was going to make some money and did by hitting the ball on the ground and utilizing his speed. Carl Crawford came in batting .380 against the Cardinals, and he's added 2 more hits to it tonight. He was 4 for 5 last night, so Cardinals have to figure out a different way to pitch it.
Really done a nice job of going the other way, but he hits this one to center field
in the air,
and if it comes down, he's out. I love that last look of Matt Holliday's hit because it was almost past him, but his strength and extension, he just drove that ball up the middle. Pure strength.
Well, remember, when he makes contact, the velocity the ball comes off the bat is so much greater than, he would have to be in the top 5% of all of baseball, how hard they hit.
Fifth inning of work for Carlos Martinez. First major league start. And he's 3-0 on Mark Ellis.
Had a good 4th inning. Saved that pitch count a little bit as he's retired 4 in a row. Throughout his minor career, he has struck out 25% of all batters.
Incredible stat, isn't it?
25% of every, and that's throughout the career. It's not 1 year.
Hard hit the center. Jay on the move. And he makes the play over his shoulder. Ball hung up. And a nice route and a nice play.
He went after that ball. You knew that he felt very comfortable that he was going to get to it. It's very much under control and reaches up the last second and hauls it in. One day with those pretty pitchers. John Jay made only 1 error this year, and that was after having 245 errorless games.
We've mentioned it a couple of times, but the Cardinal manager holds the National League record for the most errorless games for a catcher at 252.
It's pretty incredible at any position, but to think about a catcher.
Oh. We rant and rave about Yachty, as we should, and his defensive abilities, but a lot of what he learned from only Dave Ricketts, who I still believe one of the best coaches I've ever been around, but Mike Matheny as well as an example.
Mike really, he remembered catchers, some that helped him and some that tried to sabotage him, and he chose to do it the right way, and that's to help a guy that's going to come up and take your job away from you. And then in spring training, he challenged all of his players. to be that kind of guy. And even guys that, and they all bought into it. You know, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we want Beltran back next year, because he's such a leader.
Walk to Gonzalez, our charter high-speed pitch. Ryu is topped out 92, and Carlos Martinez at a fairly good rate of 99. Yasiel Puig. Infield hit in the first, bounced out to David Freese in the third. Puig walked 3 times last night. Something that he's not done a lot of, but his on-base percentage, because his average is so high, is over 400.
He's extended his hitting streak tonight to 7 games. He is 4 for 12 against the Cardinals in this series.
First chance of really seeing him, just kind of impressed. The first thing that comes to my mind is his strength. Not a little guy. You know he has power, but there are baseball players that have power that just get it from quick hands and strong hands, strong wrists, good bat speed. But this is a big man right here, and he's only 22.
When he signed his, was being auctioned off, the Cuban defector. He landed a 7-year, $42 million deal from the Dodgers. But he had a very interesting little video that he sent around to people. Part of it was how much he could leg press. I think it was like, trying to think of a picture I saw on leg press with a couple guys sitting on the bar. They kind of finished the film with him roasting a pig. Someone was trying to figure out the significance of that.
Showing his versatility, I guess. 5-tool player and a good chef.
He hit .517 in spring training.
Pitch almost hit him. You just said roasting a pig, right? I just want to make sure I heard you right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I'm playing down in the Dominican for Licey, and the ownership there was outstanding to the players.
Base hit to left for Puig. 2 Dodgers aboard in the 5th.
And they would, try to keep everybody happy around the holidays. And I remember they invited all the Americans to the beach house. As you see Puig's second hit, hits it through the left eye. And around Thanksgiving, they invited all the Americans to a beach house, had a big party, and they roasted a pig. And Jim Campanis was on that ball club, and little Jim was running around about 3 years of age, and he had something in his mouth. And Brenda, his wife, and Jim were a little concerned, like, what do you have? And one of the owners said, oh, don't worry, we gave him the delicacy. We gave him the delicacy.
I'm afraid to ask.
The eye of the pig.
Oh, boy. I have never heard that story before, Al. And I want to be on record as saying I never want to hear it again.
And it's true.
Okay. 1-0 on Ethier. Ground ball by Craig. Gets the runner at second, but that's going to be it as he takes a chance to get the middle runner, Puig. Gonzalez advances to third. And a nice play by Alan Craig.
Nice play, gutsy play.
Sure was.
And that's part of it. You got to be able to have confidence in yourself and throwing ability. You got a speedy runner going down there and a big guy target. So Cosma, very easily thrown that away. You got to throw it high enough. Looked like they had time, but Cosma, I don't think he wanted to throw the moving targets, either Craig or Martinez covering. They got there.
He did.
And if he would have thrown it over the bag, I'm sure it would have been caught.
Now A.J. Ellis. You mentioned Martinez pitching inside. He has not been afraid to go in on these right-handed batters.
That's, you do that if you pitch inside consistently. That's one of the common denominators of a winner.
This will be pitch number 94 for Martinez. And it's a strike on that inside corner.
And what we worry about is, is can he get, through a game with a few pitches,
Seth Maness getting loose in the Cardinals bullpen. Martinez set to hit third in the bottom of the fifth.
He's going to hopefully get through this inning, but there you go. It's 5 innings and fly. And it's tough to a young kid psyche if the only thing he can get is a no decision. The best thing he can get is a no decision.
The 2-1 just misses. Noticed Martinez for a second time there, Al, kind of grabbing his toe and pulling it back. You just wonder, that's just a habit that he does. You mentioned it earlier. We both thought he might have strained something, but just wonder if that's just something he does, a little habit, or
and that could be the case. If you think back long enough, it does seem like he has a tendency to do.
The 3-1. Well hit to left. This ball is deep to the track and into the Dodger bullpen. A.J. Ellis, 3-run shot. And it's given the Dodgers the lead here in the fifth, 4-1.
Now Ellis, he blasted 13 home runs last year, is the most at any level in his career. That was just number 6 here, but it's a big one. And it's a 3-run home run right there, down and in. We were always taught never throw that to right-hander. All they do is just drop that bat head and they hit it to the shortest part of the field. See Rob Johnson glove going right down. You go up and in, or you go further in, but you throw it right there, and it's an easily can be hit very hard.
Dodgers all smiles, including Hanley Ramirez in the center of your shot, who's not played in this series at all. He's not been disabled by the Dodgers.
He was injured on Sunday. He went into the stands in a foul ball and, right up against the stands, a low railing, and fell in and hurt his shoulder. With Puig coming to the big leagues, Hanley Ramirez coming off the DL, he is energized and he is playing good baseball. And now Carlos Martinez got a cramp in his finger.
It's like his pointer finger. He's
remember a couple years ago those guys had it with a curveball, like Wainwright and everything. Get that in.
Chris Conroy's been a little bit busier in this series than he would have liked.
With Maness, the double play machine is warming up. And let's hope it's just a cramp, but probably coming out of this game either way, wouldn't you say?
You'd think so. They're really doing a lot to try to manipulate it out, whatever it is, if it's a cramp or something in his finger. And
we'll see if that isn't Wainwright talked to him about it, because he had that experience a couple years ago.
That plays out. A cramp, a pain of some sort. He's out of this game, and he trails the Dodgers 4-1.